Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Melanie Barnum. She's written this really cool book. It's called Intuition at Work. Trust your gut to get ahead in business and in life. And I really believe in this because I use my intuition in my business. And so I'm really excited to speak with her today. And you guys, make sure you share this show and remember to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me if you're watching me on YouTube. So before I bring her on, I pulled this up today, you guys. Just the world is a crazy place right now, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. So the headline is, as extreme heat kills hundreds, Oregon steps up push to protect people. And it says Andrew Morton had seen the weather forecast and decided to get ahead of the heat by switching up his schedule. Morton works for a beverage and snack company in Wilsonville, Oregon, and started coming in for his warehouse shifts late last month at midnight instead of his usual 4 a.m., but it didn't seem to help much once the fierce heat dome landed on the Northwest, sending temperatures well into the triple digits. It is so humid and oppressively hot out here, he said in a recording of himself walking into work on the first hot night, getting sodas, candy, and other snacks ready for delivery to vending machine locations. It felt like he was working in a sauna. He said, when I come in, it's like, wow, it's still pretty warm. I'm going to have to treat it as if it's the middle of the afternoon or a warm summer day. So it's extreme heat is what's going on, they say. So let me just kind of skip forward. It says, since the late June, heat waves left hundreds of dead across the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia. Oregon has issued emergency safety rules, you guys, for workers and stepped up its push for permanent protection, a process that has been delayed by the pandemic. This goes on, but this is a really bad situation. It says the temporary rule will remain in effect. They've made a rule so that I guess because of the record-breaking heat, that all Oregonians, I love that, should be able to go to work knowing that conditions will be safe. But I don't know, you guys, this is really crazy stuff. As climate change affects everybody, you know, it's going to change the temperature across the United States. So I just send prayers to those people and hope that they get some relief soon. So having said that, I want to bring on Melanie. Now, she is a psychic medium and she's an intuitive counselor, my kind of girl. She's a life coach, she's a hypnotist, and she's been practicing professionally for more than 15 years. And she's the author of the book, Psychic Symbols, Llewellyn's Little Book of Psychic Development, Psychic Abilities for Beginners. And today we're going to talk about intuition at work. Welcome to High Road to Humanity, Melanie.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
Well, I'm happy you're here. I want to hear, why did you write this? Where did this come from? Talk to the audience. Tell them tell them your story.
Yeah, so all of my books I wrote because I want to share how intuition works, and I want to share how it works for me and how it can work for other people.
Okay.
But I kind of discovered one weekend, I was at what we call a goddess weekend, and it's a bunch of us women that get together and we just hang out and we talk and we have a really good time.
Awesome.
And one of the things that we started talking about was how people don't understand or realize all the time that there really are benefits to using their intuition at work.
Mhm.
So, you know, we're talking about people that are attorneys, people that are healers, people that, you know, work in retail, like they run the gamut to all types of different jobs. And we started talking about how they could use their intuition at work and
Right.
how it could help them to move forward. And also, I decided to write the book because it's kind of a play on words. So using your intuition to help you in your career and to discover what is best for you and what will make you happy. But on top of that, putting your intuition to work for you so that you don't have to work quite so hard to figure out who you are and what you want out of life.
Right. I love it. Well, you say trust your gut. So go with it, start to use your intuition. You say clairvoyance, use your visualization, start to visualize stuff. And I've always done that. Talk about visualization. I mean, visualize what you want, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, there's visualization so you can
Yeah.
see things around yourself, see things for other people. And you can also use that to manifest things. So you can begin to visualize what you actually want and what you want to bring to your life, what you want
Hmm.
to bring to yourself, what maybe you want to bring to your world for other people as well. So
Hmm.
using your vision or your clairvoyant abilities also kind of taps into your imagination. So I tell people all the time, like, don't get discouraged if you feel like what you're seeing in your mind's eye is really your imagination, because your imagination helps to train you to be able to recognize and to
Hmm.
understand and to kind of formulate those images that you'll be able to see intuitively or psychically.
Yeah, well, you talk about that, the different gifts that people have. And
Hmm.
one you talk about is clairsentience, where it's a feeling. And I like that you said when you get goosebumps, you guys, and this is what she wrote, goosebumps
I
are
just
not,
got goosebumps right
I
as you
love
said
it.
that.
Well, it says goosebumps are nothing to mess around with. They are your body manifesting proof that your sensory input is alive and well.
It's
So
very true.
that's so when you get them, it's a signal, it's a sign we have to pay attention.
Yeah, oftentimes it's validation that what you're seeing or feeling or experiencing intuitively
Hmm.
is real. Like, this is really happening, or this is a real thing for you, and you should really pay attention to it.
Hmm.
Other times it's just to get you to kind of open your eyes and say, all right, what's happening? What's going on? Like, what do I need to tune into right now? Because I'm getting
Hmm.
goosebumps. So there's something happening here. And I said, I literally just got goosebumps as you started reading about that. And that's validation that,
Yeah, that
hey, it really
works.
works.
Yeah. Well, and I
Yeah,
want to talk to you. I'm going to go a little bit off for a second. I'm an empath.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I pick up the energy of other people. And it's really interesting. I've had a couple different things happen to me over time, but I've realized my gifts. I can remember being in the presence of somebody who had really strong energy. And as an empath, it impacts me so much, I can hardly speak. And you start to recognize, that kind of stuff. Have you experienced that or seen that as well?
Of course. So
Yeah,
empaths tend to take on the energies of other people,
right,
and they can get overwhelmed by other people's energy. So it's
right.
kind of that, that dual reality for you. And a lot
Mhm.
of times, if you don't recognize it or understand it, you don't know what's happening. So you think it's you. You might think that, you're going a little crazy, or you think that, you're experiencing something that's just really weird, and you have no idea why. But
Right.
what it is in reality is that you're picking up on other people's energies. And so
Mhm.
when you finally discover that that's what's happening, then you can start to protect yourself a little bit, and you can put like a
Right.
little bit of a protective layer or a protective screen around you, so that
Yeah.
you don't have to let other people's energies come in so hard and affect you so hard and so much. And especially, if you're clairsentient, then, which is clear feeling, you feel it in your gut, you just kind of feel things about people,
Mhm.
then there's a good chance that you might have some empathic abilities, as you do and as you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And it would be a good idea to kind of put that little protective barrier around you.
Right. And it's a gift. And I want to say that it's a
For
gift.
sure.
And I use things like selenite, you guys. And I always say put salt in your pockets when you're an empath, wherever you go. Just kind of, put a little white light around yourself, those type of things. I like that you go through the different types of, because we're all intuitive. We all have it.
Of
Let me
course.
just
Of
say that.
course.
We all have it and we don't use it and we need to use it in our business. And I think it's wonderful. I have claircognizance. I have a clear knowing of things. And but it took me a while before I recognized it. And like you said, sometimes you're like, am I nuts? Am I going crazy
Yeah.
here? Like you're picking stuff up and you don't know. I can remember being in the shower, and you can probably tell me if this has ever happened to you, and having a spirit come to you. And it's always in the shower, it's always in the water. And it scared me. And I'm like, am I nuts here? And, but then you start to realize that you're not nuts. And talk about that a little bit, if you would. Because I don't know. Do you know about those things? I bet you do.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, it can happen to anybody, whether you've acknowledged or recognized your own intuitive abilities yet or not. It can
Mm-hmm.
come come at you, and you do question it. You question your own reality. You question what's happening to you. You question
Mm-hmm.
whether or not it was real. And most often, these intuitive nudges or a spirit that presents themselves comes through so subtly that until you are really kind of tuned in, until you really practice with it a little bit, most people don't recognize it. So it is harder to understand. It is harder to get into that, oh, this is what it is kind of mode. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but absolutely, that happens all the time. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, water,
It
being in the
is.
shower, water definitely helps to transmit that energy and to connect us to that
Yeah.
energy
Yeah. Well, and
for sure.
yeah. And I had to ask somebody else, I had to ask another intuitive. I mean, when it first started to happen. But I think the more you connect, these things happen. And I'm bringing it up because as you meditate, which you suggest in the book, and as you connect with the divine more, these things happen. And so be ready but it's a blessing. I want to say that it's not a curse, it's
Yeah,
a blessing.
absolutely.
Yeah, because you talk about symbols to learning to interpret these psychic messages that you get. So
Mhm.
if you go into a business meeting, you can read. Is that what talk about that a little bit?
So, I mean, you can use symbols anywhere. And the way that they really work is psychic symbols can be universal symbols. So, it could be things that everybody would recognize or most
Mhm.
people would recognize, or they can be very personal and they can be symbolic just for you. So, we have our intuitive wisdom inside of us, but it kind of comes from somewhere. We're all connected to this energy. So our guides, our loved ones on the other side, even angels, like, we're all connected to that.
Mhm.
So when they want to try and get our attention, or they want to try and tell us something or help us with something, the
Mhm.
easiest way to do that is to communicate through things that we know or things that we already can acknowledge or recognize in our everyday lives. So
Mhm.
they'll send us images, or they'll send us, flashes or words even, or sounds. And these are all symbolic messages because they're trying to connect with us the easiest way possible so that we can understand them or we can recognize them.
Right.
So getting a flash of something, whether it's an image like a postcard type image or a photograph image, or whether it's a sound or a feeling or
Yeah.
a knowing, as you said,
Right.
those quick flashes can be, easily distinguishable and easily understandable when they're symbolic,
Right. Well, let's talk
So
about that more when we come back from commercial break. Hey, you guys, I'm here today with Melanie Barnum. Her book is Intuition at Work. I'm sure we can pick this up at Amazon. Is that proper? Or on your website?
absolutely. Yeah, everywhere,
Okay, cool.
anywhere you can get the books.
All right. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and this is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Melanie Barnum. We're having a really good conversation about how we can use our intuition at work. And you were talking about symbols, and my symbols are birds.
Okay.
Always birds. I'm in New Mexico and it's like roadrunners and quail and stuff like that. And so you guys, birds, if you see a bird, it's a lot of times it's weird. They try to give you messages. I'm just throwing that out there. You because they do. It's kind of crazy. But symbols, yeah, you got to pay attention to the signs. Pay attention
For
because
sure.
I think that's part of it. People don't pay attention. I just want to talk a couple things about what I've done, and I want to know what you think. I've learned to say a prayer before I make an important call. Like I'll say, God, let this go, well for both parties involved to the highest good of all
Hmm.
involved. Do you do that kind of stuff?
So you're gonna laugh at this,
Okay.
but I do this thing, and I do it a lot with my husband, and my kids all know to do it.
Okay.
Um, we don't necessarily say a prayer per se, but we
Okay.
send out positive energy. And I'll,
Tell me what
I'll
you
tell you,
do.
I'll tell you how we do it because it's a little
Okay.
funny.
Okay.
Um, when we're about to like hit send on an email, or when we're about to make a phone call that's really important, we go like this.
Right.
I know it sounds crazy, but the thing about it is that we're putting out that happy, good,
Oh, yeah.
positive energy. We're sending that out into the universe to say, hey, we have the best of intentions for us, for them, and we want everything to work out and to be positive. Again, I just got goosebumps. So
Because it's the right thing to
it's
do.
working.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you send out love. Well, I like that. And you can
Yeah.
do it, you guys, before you go into a meeting. I mean, I don't know about
Yeah.
the bugaboo, but you could do that. I
Yeah,
just
you
think
might want to do it out loud.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of love it. Now, there was something in your book, and I'm actually going to pull this up because I was just fascinated by this. I thought this was great. You say, um, talk about feeling the energetic handshake.
So, we meet people, and one of the
Yeah.
first ways that we meet people is
Yeah.
to do the handshake.
Yeah.
So, whether it's a handshake in person or whether it's an energetic handshake, it's a kind of a transfer of energy.
Hmm.
So, even before I discovered that, I was going to do this work for the rest of my life and that I was going to be a professional psychic, and it was over 20 years ago that that happened,
Hmm.
I realized that I read people. I was always reading people.
Hmm. Me
And by
too.
reading people, yeah, and by reading people, I mean that we tune into their energy without consciously doing it. It just happens. And instantly, okay, I can either trust this person or I can't trust this person, or there's something
Right.
off about this guy, or there's something great about this guy.
Yeah.
Or, this woman has a lot going on at home right now and she might be a little too busy to do what I need her to do. Or, oh, this woman is going to be great for my project and for what I need because I can just feel her enthusiasm and I
Hmm.
just feel like she knows what she's talking about.
Hmm.
And those are the handshakes. And then you have the people that you got to be a little cautious about because you're not going to be able to trust them and you can just feel it. And you have those people that are going to tell you every single thing that you want to hear, everything that they think that will bring
Make
you over
you,
to their side,
yeah.
make you believe in them, and they're just doing it for their own ego. They're doing it for their own benefit. It has nothing to do with what's going to happen for you. So you learn to read those people. You learn to read them through that energetic handshake.
Well, and can I read? I'm going to read you guys some of the ones that she has in the book. You talk about
Sure.
the yeah, here we go. The eager beaver, and this is the one who is eager to please, the confident one, the person who wants to know they've got it together, but not in a bad way. I like that.
Hmm.
The smarmy one. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
We have all dealt with this one. You know who I'm talking about, the one with the wimpy handshake. Oh my God, that's so great. The respectful
Yeah.
one. This is the person who is differential, the one who lets you know what they're with their handshake. I like that. The oh so cocky person.
Hmm.
This person is annoying as hell. I love how you write this book. The unasked for sexual one. The person is the reason for the Me Too movement. Oh my God. The caring one.
Hmm.
The person's handshake exudes kindness, and the friendly one and the nervous one, the energy is infectious, but not in a good way. Oh my God. It's true, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
It is.
When you shake somebody's hand, when you were saying that, I was thinking, I was at my hairdresser the other day and I walked in and she's got this little booth and I sat down and the energy was like she was angry. Like she was nice, like her face was nice to me, and I was like,
Hmm.
why are you so pissed off? She was like, how did you know that? I'm like, well, I can feel it in here. It's like really, really bad. And then she proceeded to tell me, why she was upset. But you can pick that up with people, can't you?
For sure. And it's probably a good thing that you called her out on it because otherwise you may have gotten an angry haircut.
Hairdo. I
You know,
know.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, I try and teach people is that when you pick up on this energy, you can use it kind of to your advantage. Now, I'm not saying take advantage of people, but I'm saying use it to your advantage. Like if you hadn't called her out on that, she may have been like, I hate this person or this guy is really getting to me. And
And
as
not
she's cutting
even
your
know
hair,
it.
she's not
Yeah.
exactly. She's not doing it out of love. She's doing it because she's pissed off and she's angry at something else. Nothing to do with you, but it's coming out in your hair. You don't want that to happen.
You know what? And that's absolutely the truth. It really is. And, I want to talk a little bit about people who have bad energy that are around you in the workplace. Okay. And I want you to address that. I'll say a little bit. When you've got a person with a cloud over their head walking around in the
Mm.
workplace, it really affects things. Also, when you have people who are trying to steal your energy in the workplace, I'll tell a real quick story if it's okay. I'm in the real estate business. I'm a real estate broker I do, multiple things. But years and years ago, all my business had stopped and I couldn't figure out why. And I went to see this Native American lady because I'm in New Mexico. And she says, don't you know about energy vampires? And I said, no, I don't. And she said, well, you better learn. And she told me to get a book. And she said, when you are successful, people want to steal your energy. So I want you to talk about that.
Well, it kind of goes right back to that we're all connected energetically, and you can feel people's energy and they can feel yours. So,
Mhm.
you can even see it. There's something called a Kirlian photography where you can see energy of people and how, they each have their aura, which is the energetic field of your own self and every living thing out there.
Mhm.
Um, but when somebody's trying to kind of take from your energy to try and kind of glob onto you, you can see their energy kind of comes together, and you can see how like their energies kind of moves towards you. And when you're empathic as you are, you're starting to pull back a little bit. So you can
Mhm.
see how your energy would pull back a little bit, even though they're still coming for you.
Mhm.
And to be honest, a lot of times they don't even realize they're doing it.
I agree with
They,
that wholeheartedly.
yeah,
They
and they're
need
not
it.
doing it intentionally.
Right, right. It's like a friend who is sucking your energy because they're in a bad place. And if they suck your energy, then they'll be in a better place like you are. And then when you hang up the phone, you're like depleted.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
that happens a lot. And those are the friends that, you have to say, look, I'm going to give you 20 minutes because after 20 minutes, like we need to like mix this up and talk about something a little bit differently, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm just going to leave here drained. You're not going to be any happier long term,
Mhm.
if we can't like have kind of that back and forth thing. So,
Mhm.
and that does happen a lot where people, they suck the energy right out of you, whether it's at
Mhm.
work, at home, in the grocery store, it doesn't matter where you are. So yeah, again, you put up that kind of, I call it a screen, not just a barrier, but a screen.
You visualize a white light or a screen around you or however you want to do it. Some people do a net.
Yeah.
Some people
Hmm.
do a screen. Yeah. Well, because, you go into the workplace and if you've got somebody next to you and their energy is toxic, it's tough to do your job. And what are you going to do? You can't like move them and you can't go to your boss in this day and age. Well, maybe you can and say, this person's got really bad energy, man. I don't want to sit next to him. So you have
Well,
to
I
learn
mean,
to,
yeah,
you know
it
what I'm
depends on
talking
where you
about.
work. Yeah. But it depends on where you work. Some bosses will
Yeah,
understand and some bosses look at you with their
right.
head sideways.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
So one of the best ways to handle that is physical distance, for sure, trying to get as much physical distance between the two of you as possible.
okay.
And I know it's kind of counterintuitive for a lot of people, but send them positive energy. And you may actually see them kind of go like this once in a while, like what just happened? Back up, take a step back, um, because they're feeling something changing their own energy, and it mixes it up, and it mixes it up enough sometimes just so that they stop doing what they're doing,
Yeah. And
stop giving off that negativity.
yeah, when you said that, I always pray for people who are nasty to me. It's the same
Hmm.
concept. It's the same concept, because
Exactly.
when somebody's really, really ugly, you're like, oh, well, instead of being ugly back, you can say a prayer for them or send them. I love what you said, send them good energy because that way they get their energy and they feel a little bit better and you've done something good for somebody else. And that goodness that you've given to them comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah, and think about it. It's much harder for us to be angry and to be mad than it is for us to just be happy and relax.
Mhm.
So if we become angry and mad because somebody else next to us is angry and mad, then it depletes our energy, like we talked about, and it
Mhm.
makes it, more difficult for us to continue the rest of our day.
Right.
Whereas if we're sending them positive energy, we're not taking on their negative energy. We're not taking on any of their stuff, and we're not getting sucked dry from their energy and depleting ourselves. So
Mhm.
it works in a couple different ways. Really, you're trying to help them, but at the same time, you're helping yourself as
Yourself.
well.
Yeah,
So
I like
it's
that. Thank
beneficial.
you. Thank you for teaching us that. Hey, we got to go to commercial break. You guys, I'm here today with Melanie Barnum. Tell us your website. How do people get in touch with you?
Sure, just go on melaniebarnum.com or social media, Melanie Barnum Psychic, just about anywhere you can find social media.
And they can book with you. That's awesome. Hey, it's Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. This is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Melanie Barnum. Melanie, there was one thing you said in your book that really hit home, and I was like, you are absolutely right. And you talk about passion and passion for the work that you're doing? Address that if you would for the audience, please.
Oh my God, how exciting would it be if you went to work every day or if you had a career where you were passionate about it and
Right.
that you didn't go there feeling like you were, going to spend another day that you were going to hate. So being passionate about something is amazing. And that's how we should all live our lives. Being happy, being passionate about something that we're going to be doing a lot and putting a lot of time and energy into. You know, it's very cliche, but it's very true. That old adage of if you love what you do, you're never going to work. So when you love what you do, because you figured it out using your intuition, helping to manifest it, allowing yourself to figure out exactly what makes you happy and what you're passionate about, that can really change your life. And it can literally add years to your life because when you're happy, when you're excited, when you're relaxed too, because you're happy, physically your body changes. It changes everything about you.
Hmm. Well, and that's true. If you're in a job, and I just want to say this, if you're in a job that you hate, think about what is in your heart and soul that you really want to do. Because when you
Hmm.
do what you love, and don't worry about the money, I just want to say this, because when you do what you love, the money comes. You don't have to worry about it. And I've learned that over time, and I know you have too. And a lot of people won't leave a certain job because they're making a certain amount of money. But like you said, physically, it's harming them. And if they do what sometimes money is not everything, you guys. If you're doing what you love and you're making a good income, like you said, it affects your health.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're miserable every day, how can that not affect you physiologically?
Yeah.
Right? It's going to affect every part of your being as well as the people around you.
Right.
So when you take a step back and you start thinking about, and I was actually just coaching somebody on this the other day, don't
Mhm.
think about what you want to do for a living. Just think about what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what are you passionate about,
Right.
what do you love to do, and then turn that into your career. And
Mhm.
oftentimes, yeah, we do have a family to take care of. We do have to pay our bills. Money does play a part in this.
Mhm.
But as you said, once you figure it out, it'll happen.
Well,
You
yeah.
can create that path and it starts to come to you and you start to manifest it all.
You do. There's so many things you said. I was looking at all my notes here. I really liked your book. You had so many interesting things. And I just want to say it's an easy read and it's interesting. She's like real down to earth. So, you guys can probably get into this pretty easily. You say calming down in the midst of chaos. And I've learned to do that. I'm going to say my little spiel and then you please address it.
Mhm.
I've learned to just sit here and be balanced and kind of just watch everything go on. But it took me a long time to get to that point. I think that's what you're talking about. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on in the world right now, right? There's
Yeah.
so much. You talked in the beginning of this about, the climate change and everything that's happening around that. And if we allowed ourselves to freak out about every single thing, it
Hmm.
would be so overwhelming for us. We'd never accomplish anything. We'd never be able to move forward. So we have to start kind of protecting ourselves and learning how to calm our energy down a little bit so that we can handle everything that's going on. Because, climate change, like I said, is one huge thing that's affecting the entire world, but it's only one thing. There's so much more. And then we get down to the microcosm of our own life.
Hmm.
And there's so much going on to us that's so personal. Until we can kind of calm down with all the chaos that's around us, we're never going to be able to handle it all. We're never going to be able to move forward in a positive way for ourselves because we get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So, simply by calming down, tuning into your intuition, trusting that the universe is there and wants to help us and wants to work with us and wants to make things great for us,
Yes.
it's going to take a little bit of time. And learning to trust that and learning how to calm down in the midst of chaos is huge to helping
Mhm.
you to get ahead.
You just said something that really, that I finally, God, it took me forever just to trust, just to trust. I mean, I've had faith. Okay. So, faith is hard because I finally learned how to have faith, but then it's like, trust God that you don't have to worry, higher power, whatever you guys want to call it, the divine. I call him God, but you got to have that unwavering trust that no matter what, things are going to work out for your highest and best good. It's hard, but when you get
It's
there,
really hard.
I know, but when you get there, it's like, okay, it's hard to let go. They say, let go, let God, but it's so hard to let go of the control. You're like, oh no, I can fix that. I can do that. I think that's the hardest thing for people is to let go and let the universe handle it for you. What do you think?
I agree. And I also think it depends on your personality. You
Okay.
have type A personalities. You have people that they're the doers. They're the ones that always want to control everything or need to control everything to feel like
Right.
they're accomplishing anything. And,
Hmm.
they're the ones that are going to have a really, really hard time. They're also the ones that have a really hard time in hypnosis because they want to control it. Yeah. And that's okay.
You're
It's
exactly
okay.
right. I can't be hypnotized. I used to be a smoker years ago. And I went to this lady's office. I always tell these stories to the audience. They probably crack up. But I went to this lady's office here in Albuquerque, probably 20 years ago, God. And I was smoking and I was in real estate, so I couldn't smoke. So I had to quit. And I was so addictive. I'm an addictive personality. So I go into her office and she puts me in her whatever, her room. And she's like, she does her thing and she's like, you're under. I'm like, no, I'm not. She was she was all bent out of shape. And I was so upset. I was like, well, I'm not paying you because you didn't like put me out. And she's like, but I was like, okay, I guess I have to. So I wrote her the check and I left, but she couldn't put me under. Talk about that. Why is that? Why is that? Why can't we be
Well, it's
hypnotized?
Well, a lot of it just has to do with the fact that you always want to be in control. So remember we talked about calming down in the midst of chaos?
Mm-hmm.
That's you to a T. Like you need to be able to calm down, but you
Right.
feed on that chaos. You
Yes.
feed on that
Yes.
because you're a multitasker. You're the one that, you
Yes.
grab this from this side, this from this side, this from over here, all at the same time,
Correct.
because that's
Absolutely.
that's how you feed your spirit, how you feed your soul. So
Yeah.
it can be really difficult, working with somebody who is in that much in control of
Have
themselves.
you had this
And
happen in your
oh yeah,
practice? So what do you
yeah. I
do?
mean,
What do
well,
you
you have to
do?
do it differently for people like you. You have to do it differently. You have to adapt.
Okay.
Hypnosis work has a lot to do with training. So we're all trained,
Right.
and depending on who you're trained through, I was trained through the National Guild of Hypnotists, which is the largest organization in the world, and
Wow.
then a million other trainings on top of that. But
Right.
everybody's kind of trained to do basically the same types of inductions, right? The
Okay.
same types of getting you under. But
Right.
for somebody like you have to handle it totally differently. So instead of saying, I'm going to put you under, I would say, I'm going to help to guide you through this experience for yourself.
How you approach it.
Because because
Okay.
you need to have some control. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to let go. And
Right.
so, but just by saying those words, I'm going to help you by guiding you so that you can do this for yourself. That gives the power back to you. So even though I still do the same thing,
You say it in a
it
different
allows you
way.
to feel like you're in control. It
Yeah.
allows you to feel like you're not letting go of control. You're not letting somebody else take over, because you're also empathic, by the way. So being empathic, you don't want somebody else to take over.
Mm-mm.
That happens to you, and you're automatically going to put up the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So you're automatically going to try to protect yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
when you are a control person and you're empathic, you have to handle things a little bit differently. And it's the same thing with your intuition. Like you have to handle it differently.
Very interesting. Thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
Because, I always thought I just can't be hypnotized. But anyway, but you could probably do it. I love it. So, but it's okay. I don't smoke anymore. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
meditate.
I don't think you're smoking
No,
anymore,
I don't
so you're
smoke
good.
anymore. But meditation really brings in balance. And I talk about meditation on the show, and my audience is probably like, come on, Nance, we know about meditation. But it really is the key to
Yeah,
connecting and to bringing in the information. Will you talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind, Melanie?
sure. So one of the things that I tell people all the time, because the second meditation comes up, everybody says, "Oh,
I
I
know.
can't do that. I can't focus. I can't stay in that space. Everything comes in and it just bothers me." And so it's really, really difficult for some people, for most people actually, when they're first starting out, especially. And for
Mhm.
myself too.
Me
I'm not
too.
taking myself out of that. Like it's
Right.
difficult for me as well.
Mhm.
So what I tell people is it doesn't have to be that experience where you're doing it for an hour a day.
Right.
Stop what you're doing and take 3 deep breaths. Just take 3 deep breaths and focus on the breath coming in and the breath going out. And you're meditating. That's meditation. That's all it is. And then slowly you can start to add other things to it. You can start to add other things. You can add the chakra balancing, get your energy right. You can start to add in, a goal. So more of a self-hypnosis kind of thing. You can start to do past life regression work. The more you just begin to quiet your spirit, the more you'll connect to everything around you.
I agree with that. I think that's wonderful. Yeah. And I just want to say it was hard for me too. It took me forever because I'm
Mhm.
so high energy, but it's weird. I just want to say this for other high energy people, because a lot of type A people are in business. Okay.
Of
And
course.
so, right. And so what I've learned is over time that when I did finally sit down and quiet, it actually it calms you down. It does
Of
calm you
course, yeah.
down. And that's what we all need. Hey, you guys, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. We're here talking to Melanie Barnum. Her book is Intuition at Work. This is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Melanie Barnum. We're talking about your intuition at work. Melanie, please continue your thought process there on what we were talking about.
So we were just talking about meditation and how some people have a really hard time with it. And one of the
Mhm.
things that I tell people all the time, myself included, because again, it can be really difficult to calm your energy down long enough to feel like it's doing anything for you or that you are having any kind of benefit from it. So one of the things that I tell people all the time is don't try and ignore the thoughts that pop into your mind. Don't try and discount them. Instead, acknowledge them and say, I hear that, and I'm going to save that for later. I
Right.
hear that, thank you, and I'll address that later. So
Mhm.
you're acknowledging that thought, you're acknowledging that image, that sound, that feeling, whatever it is that you're experiencing that's keeping you from really relaxing.
Okay.
And then you're letting it go by acknowledging it and giving it, 1 or 2 seconds of space in your mind. You're able to then let it go. And it
Yeah.
doesn't sit there and fester to keep you distracted.
That's true. And I like guided meditations too, because it keeps you on
Mhm.
track. I'll just say that
For sure.
starting
For sure.
starting out, that really helped me is to have a guided meditation. And there's so many wonderful ones out there. There's a couple things I want to ask you real quick. You say using your intuitive compass, finding your true north. What do you mean by that?
So, kind of what I was talking about before, and expanding that idea a little bit. So, figuring out what makes you happy. Which direction do you want to go in life? Which
Okay.
direction do you want to take your career, your personal life? But also, finding your true north can mean where do you want to live? Like, where do you want to be? Just because you were born somewhere, or just because you ended up somewhere because of, marriage or some other reason, it doesn't mean that that's exactly where you feel the most comfortable. So, some people are drawn to places like New Mexico or Arizona when they're doing, spiritual work because it's a very spiritual location. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very kind of energy dense area.
Mm-hmm.
And, some people are drawn to California, say,
Yeah.
even though they grew up on the East Coast, because maybe they were born there in California and they just feel like that's home to them. Even though they lived there for a year out of their entire lives,
Mm-hmm.
they move back because they just feel that's where their true north is. That's where they're drawn to. That's where they belong. And that's where they feel the most comfortable. And you can do that with work and with your career and where to work. Whether or not to take this job over here or take this job over here, because it's where you feel pulled. It's where your energy, your heart, your spirit is being pulled to.
Okay. And if you have two jobs and you're this one and that one, I want to know your take on this. So I always just pray on it and ask, how do you tell people to, figure out whether they take this one or this one, the choice?
So we talked a little bit about symbolism and signs before.
Okay.
You can definitely pray on it. You can ask the universe to help you decide. But a lot of times, people that, even myself, and I've been doing this work, like I said, for well over 20 years professionally, I
Hmm.
still won't always trust what I'm getting. So I ask for a symbol, which is an intangible thing, something inside. It's something that you feel inside your body. But then I'll ask for a sign or a synchronistic event to help bring me to help guide me to which job I should be in. And those signs are the things that are external. Those are the tangible things that you can see, that you can touch, that you can feel.
Mm-hmm.
And those can help you to recognize which is going to be better for you. And
Yeah.
a lot of people think that they're going to figure it out in that instant when they ask. I'm asking right now for the universe to help guide me to which job is going to be better for me. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to hear it right away. You're not going to feel it right away. Give it a day. Give it 12 hours. Give it
Right.
24 hours,
Right.
because then you'll get that.
Right.
You'll get those answers.
Well, the important thing you said is ask. People don't ask. And I just want to address that. And you said it a couple times. People, you guys, you got to ask, because if you don't ask, you don't get. And that's something that I just think is really important. You also talk, when you use your intuition, you become a better leader. And I love that, because it's true. If you go with your gut, can you address that a little bit? It's, Melanie.
So, I mean, there's a couple different ways to look at it or to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
When you use your intuition, it helps you to figure out what you need to do to be a better leader, what direction you need to go in, what you need to address. By using your intuition, you have kind of a leg up, you have a step up on what's important and what direction you need to take your group or your team.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you use your intuition as a leader, you can actually read other people's energy. So you can read the energy of the people that are working for you or the people that you're teaming up with. And it'll help you to figure out how to lead them. Not everybody's the same. Remember, we talked about being more type A and needing to
Mm-hmm.
hold on to that control. So
Mm-hmm.
as a leader, I would give you a project and I would say, you tell me what you think is the best way to handle this. I wouldn't give
Mm-hmm.
you a project and say, I need you to do this in this
Right.
way, because it's
Right.
not going to work for you,
Right.
right?
Right. That's true. And so you have to recognize these different personality types and know how to deal with them energetically. I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. I want to
And a
talk
lot
about
of times,
what?
I was going to say, a lot of times people will try and tell you what kind of person they are because that's what they expect you to want. But deep down inside, the person that they're trying to be is not who they really are. So, say you come to your boss or whatever, and you try and say, I'll do whatever you want. But meanwhile, you're the kind of person that needs to run with something. You don't want to do whatever they want. You want to run with it and do what you want. So you need to
Mhm.
know like their energy. You need to kind of be intuitive to read that.
Okay. You say trust your intuition during interviews and reviews when hiring, and that's what you're kind of talking about a little bit here is
Yeah.
use your intuition, you guys, and use your energy. Now, I actually sell land in New Mexico, and I go out on the land. I'm just throwing this out here because I want people to start using their intuition and their energy. And when I go out and I don't hire somebody unless it's a big sign that I have to put up. If it's a small sign, I go and do it myself. And the reason I do it myself is when I walk on that land, my energy is connected to that land. And that's
Hmm.
what gets that land to sell. And have you ever heard of that kind of stuff? Because that's kind of where I'm at with this. What do you think?
Absolutely. So I also tell people all the time, like get outside and dig in the dirt, hug a
Yeah.
tree,
Yeah.
because it's not bogus information. Like it's real. You're grounding yourself into the earth and into the energy of the earth. So
Yes.
if you're going there to try and sell a house, you need to connect to that energy. You need to be able to connect to that energy so that you can help it to move on to the next person who's going to love it. And that helps you as well to decide who you need to bring to that property to show them that property and
Yeah.
what kind of position you need to be in order to sell it, what you need to market it as, and how you need to promote it. So
Mhm.
absolutely connecting to the energy of that land is huge. It's
Mhm.
huge.
Well, and it's funny because I've had people recognize it over the years. I had a guy, he's no longer here. He's up there and he used to say, Nancy, just go stand on the land and it'll sell. It's your energy. It's your energy. But he was like the only person that ever picked up on it. Well, more people do now, but at the time, it's 25 years ago,
Hmm.
when I was doing real estate, he'd pick up on it. But it's interesting. And there's another guy I met, his energy was so strong. He was a realtor and he sold one of my houses when I was in another state. And that's the guy I was talking about, that he took my breath away because his energy was so strong. But it was exactly the same thing. He sold it in one day
Hmm.
because his energy was so strong and he connected. And I just wanted to say that because in business, man, if people would listen to you and listen to what we're saying, I mean, the sky's the limit. I'm going to let you talk about
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you use your intuition? We use other tools. We use computers to write. We use computers to calculate. We use hammers and saws to build things. We use
Hmm.
all types of tools. Why wouldn't we use a tool that we're born with, that's natural, that's part of our birthright to
I
be able
know.
to use? Why wouldn't we use that? That is our best possible gift from the universe that we can utilize for free every single day in every single way. So why not use that to help you
Right.
in every area of your life? Why not?
Well, I think this should be taught in school.
I do too.
I really do. I think this should be taught in elementary school. I think as we imagine if you and I were taught this information when we were growing up, where we'd be
You
today.
know, that's actually one of the things I do talk about a lot is people say, well, if we're born with it, where does it go? It's
It doesn't
because
go
as
anywhere.
children, exactly, as children, we're not yet, when we're first born with it, we don't really
Hmm.
understand what it is. It's just natural. But then
Hmm.
as we get older, the grown-ups, adults that don't understand it start to shut that down in us. So it just
Hmm.
gets buried. It gets buried deeper and deeper if we ignore it and if we discount it. As we get older, we still use it sometimes, a mother's intuition, a cop's hunch. We still use them, those different qualities that we have, those different intuitive gifts that we have or abilities that we have, but
Right.
it gets shut down. So if we were taught this in school,
Could you
it would
imagine?
open us up. It would open us up
Mhm.
exponentially.
Well, and I just want to say a lot of this has been, we got to get out of here in a minute, but I want to mention that society has created this because there's a lot of people. I mean, I even have family members who don't, oh, you're a psychic. I'm like, yes, I am.
Of
And
course.
they make fun of it. I've heard the psycho thing. I've heard it all. And it's really disheartening because it's a gift and we all have it. Everybody has it. Listen, we got about a minute. What do you want to leave us with today, Melanie?
Trust it. Trust your gut. Practice. Open up. Look, not everybody is going to be a professional psychic.
Right.
Not everybody wants to be a professional psychic. Not everybody was born to be a professional psychic. But it's the same thing as hitting a note on a piano. Everybody can touch a note on the piano and make sound. Not everybody's
Mhm.
going to be Beethoven or Mozart, and that's okay.
Right.
But everybody is intuitive. You don't have to be a professional psychic in order to use your intuition every day. You don't
Mm,
have to be a professional psychic to manifest things for yourself and to put things out there to create a better life for yourself and to be happier.
I know.
So again, the biggest thing in this is trust your gut to get ahead in business and in life. So in any arena, use your intuition to help you to move forward, no matter what it is.
Thank you. You're a wonderful teacher. I'm really glad you came today. Tell everybody how to get in
Uh,
touch with you again if they want to make an appointment with you.
sure. So go on my website, melaniebarnum.com, and you can just email me directly, melanie@melaniebarnum.com, or you can follow me on social media. So Facebook is where I kind of am the most,
Okay.
Melanie Barnum Psychic. And you can like my page, follow my page, and see things that I'm up to or things that I'm posting about.
All right, fantastic. Before I get out of here, I got to promote myself a little bit. You guys, if you want a psychic reading from me, go to my website, nancyyearout.com. For the month of July, I'm giving you my book. So if you book with me in July, I will send you my book, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. Melanie, it's been a pleasure. I hope you'll come back and see me again.
Thanks, Nancy. I'd love to.
Okay. All right, you guys. Hey, this is High Road to Humanity. This is Nancy Yearout. We will see you next time. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.